Have you ever found yourself in the middle of a raging conflict? Had your heart race and your ideas fly? Then later you regret every word you said? If I told you that learning to master yourself is the key to overcoming such challenges, not in winning arguments. Creating the context. Imagine yourself returning home from a taxing workday. Today we are exploring a timeless, age-old philosophy that provides excellent guidance on how to control our emotions and lead a strong, robust life. Your tolerance is low. The traffic never stops. Still another motorist cuts off you suddenly? Your first response is likely to yell, honk, maybe even chase after them to release your frustration. But suppose you could inhale deeply, remain calm, and simply keep on your drive instead of reacting. How would your day be different? Many of us are all too familiar with this scenario, which is only one example of how our reactions could control us and usually leads to unnecessary conflict and tension. Could you maybe turn that around though? Now enter Stoicism, an ancient Greek philosophy that teaches us the art of emotional mastery. Imagine you could guide your emotions instead of be driven by them. Stuckness is really about comprehending that our non-control is something we may choose to overlook. Our own ideas and actions are under our control, particularly in a society when we are often surrounded with events triggering our emotions. This style of thinking could be really helpful. Then we will be learning 10 Stoic lessons from today's film to enable you to apply not reacting's power. These lessons are practical tools you could apply in daily life to acquire emotional control, peace, and resilience. They are not merely theoretical ideas. Lesson 1. The dichotomy of control. Have situations that appear completely under your control ever made you feel overwhelmed? Maybe it's a career gone off course, a relationship issue, or even something as simple as the weather ruining your plans. The simple yet powerful method Stoics offer to help one overcome their sense of powerlessness is the dichotomy of control. Explain the duality of control. The dichotomy of affect is fundamentally about sorting all that life presents into two categories: things you can and cannot affect. The only things truly within your influence are your own ideas, actions, and reactions. Other people's views, outside events, or outcomes, all else, are outside your power. Why this matters. Think about the stress and worry efforts to manage naturally occurring uncontrollable events cause when you worry about how others regard you, stress over the success of a project, or become irritated by traffic. You are spending your energy on things you really cannot change. This saps your emotional reserves and drives unwarranted conflict. Knowing and appreciating this contradiction will enable you to focus on your own behavior, that which actually counts. You can focus on how you respond to what happens instead of obsessing on what might. This point of view adjustment can be really liberating. It releases the weight of trying to control the unmanageable, so you may concentrate on what you can control, your own actions and attitudes. How might one apply this in daily life? Not merely a philosophical, but also a practical tool. The dichotomy of control helps one lead a more peaceful, empowered existence. Lesson 2. Practicing. Delayed response. Here is when the Stoic lesson on delayed response is most helpful. We have all been there. Someone says something that triggers our emotions, and before we realize it, we have reacted with something we could come to regret. Alternatively, perhaps you sent a hurried, angry email and afterwards felt ashamed. When you went back over it, delayed response? What exactly is it? Delayed response is the ability of stopping before responding. The idea is simple but powerful. Pause to breathe and ponder before you act. When you experience that surge of feeling angry, upset, even pleased, especially in emotionally charged circumstances, why is it vital? Consider how often you have looked back on a situation and wished you had reacted differently. That is so because we are not always thinking clearly under the heat of the moment. Usually, our first reactions are driven more by emotion than by reason. Delayed response encourage you to give yourself the time to choose your reply instead of allowing your emotions to guide you. This is about pausing to make sure your response fits your true aims and beliefs, not about stifling your feelings or being inactive. Delayed response implementation guidelines. Try this next time you find yourself in a situation that causes a strong emotional reaction. Stop. Inhale deeply. Count to 10. Then, if the situation permits, step aside for a few minutes. Spend some time asking yourself, what exactly do I want to accomplish here? How can I respond to reflect my own nature? It's about being faithful to yourself and retaining emotional control rather than about winning or losing a discussion. This small delay will make a tremendous difference, as you will find. You will be able to react wisely and clearly rather than out of annoyance or wrath. Delayed response is like building a muscle. The more you train, the more strong it becomes. Over time, you will find you are less reactive, more calm, and more equipped to handle even the toughest situations. Lesson 3. Embrace the present moment. Here is where the Stoic lesson of living in the present moment becomes really crucial. Ever found yourself lost in notions about the past or worrying about the future, while life is right here around you? To live in the present calls for what? Accepting the present is about fully participating in the here and now and appreciating what is happening directly in front of you rather than obsessing over the past or fretting about the future. Why should it be important? Though the past is gone and the future is still to arrive, life is really experienced in the present. You miss the richness of the present when you are consumed with regrets about yesterday or worries about tomorrow, along with depriving you of happiness. This diversion can cause unwarranted tension and anxiety rather than stew in what-ifs and maybes. The Stoics maintain that one may achieve peace and clarity by concentrating on the present. This change of concentration enables you to interact entirely with what is and helps you to reduce stress. How to greet the here now? Work on mindfulness first. This could be as simple as noticing your breath, focusing on the task at hand, or really interacting with the people around you. During a conversation, for example, really pay attention to what the other person is saying rather than planning your next response. Or to-do list. Look around you and note the sensations, that of your chair's texture, the sun's warmth, or the taste of your meal. These momentary awareness moments anchor you in the present as well, emphasizing the here and now will assist you to live more fully and with more peace. Accepting the present is about acknowledging that the present is where you most have impact and where life actually happens, not about ignoring the past or the future. Lesson 4. Cultivating indifference to external events. Perhaps it was a bad comment, a missed deadline, or even the temperature. This is where your attitude to life can be really affected by the Stoic habit of growing indifference to outside events. Has anything outside of your control ever entirely spoiled your day? What does growing indifferent mean? Growing indifference is about learning that outside events like the behavior of others or unplanned circumstances are beyond your control. You decide how to observe and respond to these circumstances rather than reacting emotionally. Apathy or absence of feeling does not follow from this realization. Why is that noteworthy? Imagine a day when everything seems to be going wrong. Your boss is critical, you are caught in traffic, and your preferred restaurant is closed. If you react to every one of these events with disappointment or annoyance, you will find yourself having a bad day. You give away your power, realizing that outer events are neutral and only your viewpoint can make them good or negative may allow you to preserve your inner calm even if your responses from the events themselves are different. How can one grow apathetic? Start by changing your perspective on outside events. When anything goes wrong, instead of treating it as a setback, see it as a challenge or a potential for improvement. If you miss a train, for instance, use it as an opportunity to cultivate patience or relish an unplanned break. Remember also the fleeting nature of outer events. Everything is transient. What seems urgent or aggravating today will pass. This helps you to remain grounded and regulate your emotional reactions. Growing indifference toward outside events does not imply you lose interest in life. It means you take responsibility of your reactions and preserve calm, independent of the circumstances. This exercise helps you remain grounded and powerful even in a world that seems unstable. Lesson 5. Amor Fati, love of fate. The core of amor fati, sometimes known as love of fate, is that we have often found ourselves in a situation that seemed like a major loss only to find it was a blessing in disguise later on. This is a strong Stoic lesson meant to help us welcome all that comes our way, positive as well as negative. Amor fati is the what? Translating as love of fate. Amor fati is about accepting and even loving all that life offers, including the challenges and hardships. The Stoics counsel us to welcome the turns of fate as necessary components of our path rather than struggle or resentment. Why do you consider important? Life is unpredictable, thus often events deviate from expectations. Obstacles or disappointments can cause one to get dissatisfied or demoralized. Amor fati shows us, however, that everything, including our challenges, has worth and intent. This kind of thinking will help you to change your view of difficulty from something to be avoided to something to be accepted as part of your own development. Imagine losing a job you felt to be steady. At first, it could seem like a disaster, but examine through the lens of amor fati. It presents opportunities for fresh starts. Perhaps it helps you to reconsider and follow your true passions or opens the road to employment you hadn't considered. Amor fati's performance technique. Beginning your practice in amor fati. Rethink your perspective on challenges instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, from this experience, how may I grow? Accept the reality that every event, positive or negative, adds to your path. Consider past challenges that, looking back, turned out to be useful. These meditations might enable you to welcome challenges both now and in the future. Seeing every event as part of a larger, important story can enable you to approach life with resilience and direction. Amor fati will help you to embrace the fact that enjoying what happens is equally important for the narrative of your life. It helps you to see potential for development in obstacles and difficulties, therefore transforming your perspective on the flow of life. Lesson 6. The art of self-reflection. Though you're not sure why, have you ever found yourself repeating the same mistakes or following the same trends? Here is where the Stoic habit of self-reflection proves helpful, since it offers a significant tool for emotional control and personal growth. Self-examination is what? Regular self-reflection means examining your own thoughts, actions, and emotions. It's about looking inside to discover why you choose the course of action you do and how you react to specific occurrences. The Stoics maintain that this practice determines both human development. Imagine losing a job you felt to be steady. At first, it could seem like a disaster, but examine through the lens of amor fati. It presents opportunities for fresh starts. Perhaps it helps you to reconsider and follow your true passions or opens the road to employment you hadn't considered. Amor fati's performance technique. Beginning your practice in amor fati, rethink your perspective on challenges instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, from this experience, how may I grow? Accept the reality that every event, positive or negative, adds to your path. Consider past challenges that, looking back, turned out to be useful. These meditations might enable you to welcome challenges both now and in the future. Seeing every event as part of a larger, important story can enable you to approach life with resilience and direction. Amor fati will help you to embrace the fact that enjoying what happens is equally important for the narrative of your life. It helps you to see potential for development in obstacles and difficulties, therefore transforming your perspective on the flow of life. Lesson 6. The art of self-reflection. Though you're not sure why, Have you ever found yourself repeating the same mistakes or following the same trends? Here is where the Stoic habit of self-reflection proves helpful, since it offers a significant tool for emotional control and personal growth. Self-examination is what? Regular self-reflection means examining your own thoughts, actions, and emotions. It's about looking inside to discover why you choose the course of action you do and how you react to specific occurrences. The Stoics maintain that this practice determines both human development and inner peace. Why should it matter? Without introspection, one may easily live on autopilot and react to situations without understanding the underlying reasons of your behavior. Ignorance of this nature could lead to constant mistakes, unresolved issues, and a general unhappiness. Reflecting enables you to make more conscious decisions and helps you to know your own intentions. Self-awareness, for example, can enable you to understand why you find yourself bothered by minor irritation so frequently. Maybe the challenge itself is not so bad. Rather, a more underlying control or expectation-related issue is there. Finding these patterns will enable you to change and manage your reactions. How one should approach personal growth? First, set aside some time every day or every week for reflection. Ask yourself things like, how did I tackle challenges today? Did I behave in keeping with my values? From my connections with people, what can I grow from? Notebooking is one helpful tool for this. Write about your impressions, reactions, and feelings. This helps you to arrange your ideas and also allows you to track your improvement over time. Regularly thinking back on your experiences helps you create a better basis for making reasonable decisions and having a more happy life. It also helps one to get clarity and understanding rather than self-criticism, and identify areas needing work and honor your development. Lesson 7. The power of perspective. Have you ever been caught in a negative thought loop and felt overloaded by an apparently insurmountable problem? The Stoic lesson on the necessity of perspective will enable you to adjust your frame of view and address issues. What authority possess perspective possess? The strength of perspective is realizing that our viewpoint usually shapes our emotions about an experience. The Stoics held that our emotional reactions to events are interpretations of those events rather than merely responses to them. Changing our viewpoint will help us to change our emotional experience and address problems more precisely. Why is that not significant? Changing your perspective helps you to keep control over your emotions and react more wisely to ups and downs of life. See a setback as a disaster and you may get frustrated and powerless. However, it becomes easier to manage with resilience and hope. If you view it as a challenge or a chance for learning how to maximize viewpoint power, ask yourself, how else might I see this? Start by purposefully questioning your first reactions to events to build your power of perspective. Try to push yourself to consider several points of view and likely benefits. Think often about the positive aspects of your life and the lessons learned from facing difficult situations to express thankfulness. One develops by this habit of looking for the silver lining, even under hard conditions. By consciously choosing how you see events, you may modify your emotional response and negotiate life from a more balanced and positive standpoint. Accepting the power of perspective enables you to approach every experience with potential and to tackle problems with resilience. Lesson 8. The practice of voluntary discomfort. Have you ever given modern life's attempts to shield us from any type of discomfort more thought? We aim for convenience, ease, and luxury, even though the Stoic lesson of voluntary suffering points a different path, actively seeking out and embracing difficulties to build resilience and strength. One thing is voluntary discontent. Voluntary discomfort is the method of deliberately exposing yourself to demanding events or situations to grow in character and increase your capacity to handle adversity. It's about deciding to head on rather than because you have to challenge yourself. outside of your comfort zone. Why is this significant? Choosing suffering on purpose helps one develop mental fortitude and resilience in a society geared to encourage comfort and lower effort. Regularly encountering challenges and feeling uncomfortable allows you to get equipped to handle unforeseen problems more naturally. This habit not only sharpens your body and mind, but also helps you to appreciate the joys you already enjoy much better. Imagine choosing to shower cold every morning. Though initially challenging, this little act of voluntary discomfort can help to teach tolerance and discipline. Over time, you will find that conquering other issues grows easier as you have taught yourself to actively handle pain how one should go. Through voluntary discomfort, find little sensible methods to fit discomfort into your calendar first. It may be something like cold showers, fasting for a day, or making oneself work even when you don't feel like it. The secret is to choose activities challenging you without draining you. Get more at peace with discomfort. Then gradually challenge these methods. Consider your experiences and notice the growth brought about by pushing your limits. Dealing with intentional discomfort helps you to become flexible and resilient, knowing that you are equipped to elegantly manage challenges. This Stoic discipline enables you to confidently and powerfully meet the unavoidable roadblocks of life. Lesson 9, Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. Has anyone ever found yourself caught in the daily grind, unable to recognize what really important? Translating, remember you will die. Memento Mori's Stoic lesson reminds us forcibly to see the impermanence of life in perspective. Memento Mori? Just what is it? Memento Mori is the contemplation on the unavoidable character of death. It should inspire respect of life and urgency rather than make one sad or depressed. Knowing our limited time enables us to make more sensible selections and rank what truly important. Why should it be important? Daily grind makes it easy to lose view of the bigger picture and become caught in small concerns. Memento Mori tells us a wake-up call that our time on this world is finite. This knowledge drives us to enjoy our times with loved ones, live more deliberately, and give our values top attention. When you find yourself engaged in a minor argument or stressing about little setbacks, Memento Mori helps you back off and think, is this really worth my time and effort? This meditation can help you switch your attention from what doesn't matter to what genuinely enhances your life. Mori. Methodologies of practice-led ideas about death enter your daily life. You might start by allotting some daily time to examine the transient nature of life. This introspection will enable you to choose in line with your values and help you to decide what actually important to you. Memento Mori can also be done by surrounding yourself with reminders, such a message or emblem signifying the transience of life. These reminders will enable you to remain focused on what is vital and control daily concerns. Accepting Memento Mori enables you to make judgments grounded on your genuine priorities and develop more respect of the significant events of life.